Justin Bernstein presiding.
Please be seated. We're here in the case of United States versus Powell. We have both parties present and ready to proceed, starting with the government.
Yes, Your Honor.
Appearances?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Members of the jury. My name is Andy Parker, counsel for the people. At this time, Your Honor, may my witness please introduce herself?
Yes.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Roberta Little.
Afternoon. Appearances from the defense?
Good afternoon, Your Honor, members of the jury. My name is Megan Jones, and today I am counsel for Jerry Powell. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Are there any housekeeping matters before we get started?
Yes, Your Honor, the people have a few housekeeping matters we'd like to address.
Proceed.
First, Your Honor, the people would request that the charges and stipulations be considered constructively read into the record.
That motion is granted.
Yes, Your Honor. Second, the people would request permission to move freely behind the counsel table and along the jury box during opening and closing statements, as well as direct and cross-examination.
Counsel for both parties may make free use of the well for all statements and examinations with the following restrictions. If you're going to actually give something to the jury or approach them more than just being near the jury box, you need permission. If you're going to approach a witness, you need permission. You don't need permission to move freely. You don't need permission to approach each other.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Third, Your Honor, the people would like the court to note that there are 8 exhibits here today, and we ask that they be marked as exhibits 1 through 8 for identification purposes at this point.
It's granted.
And finally, Your Honor, the people have brought extra copies of the charges and stipulations and the rules of this jurisdiction, if Your Honor would like them.
You're referring to the rules of evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
I have that. I will take the other documents as you approach. I'm assuming, Ms. Jones, you've seen these?
Yes, I have.
Case and the exhibits.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. These exhibits are not pre-admitted, right?
No, Your Honor, they are
All
not.
right, so then I don't want these. I only want things that are in evidence for the rules themselves. So I'll hand these back to you, counsel.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything further from the government?
With that, Your Honor, the people are ready to proceed.
Ms. Jones?
The defense requests that all objections and arguments be made constructively outside of the presence of the jury.
Yes, and witnesses will be considered pre-sworn.
With that, the defense is ready to proceed as well.
Let's go.
Yes, Your Honor. Members of the jury, you are here today to answer a simple question. Is the defendant a bank robber? Today's case centers around 2 bank robberies, one on August 29th of 2014 and one on September 9th of 2014. Today you'll learn that those robberies were nearly identical. Both crimes were in Roma, California, both at Coliseum National Banks, both committed by 2 robbers, same knowledge of bank security, same threats. Same crime, simple answer. Today the evidence will show that on August 29th of 2014, the defendant and an accomplice walked into a branch of Coliseum National Bank, a bank here in Roma. You'll learn that they each wore distinctive disguise, blue masks over their faces, hooded sweatshirts over their heads, and trench coats over their bodies. The evidence will show that they threatened everyone in that bank, stole thousands of dollars, and escaped in a black Chevy Impala. And then, exactly 11 days later, on September 9th, they did it again. 2 robbers, Coliseum National Bank, the city of Roma, blue masks, hood sweatshirts, trench coats, threats, black Chevy Impala. Identical crimes. But this time, something changed. Only one robber escaped. Today you'll learn that a man named Kyle Singer was found dead on the ground in Coliseum National Bank on September 9th. He was one of the robbers. And in trial, we're focused on his roommate and longtime best friend, the defendant, Jerry Powell. In this trial, you're going to learn a lot about the defendant. You'll learn that she worked for the same bank that was robbed. You'll learn that she was familiar with the bank's security measures. You'll learn that she wasn't at work on either of the 2 days of the robberies. And you'll learn that not a single person can corroborate her alibi from those days. Today, you're going to hear from Roberta Little, an FBI agent who specializes in bank robbery investigation. The agent searched the defendant's apartment. She's going to take the stand, and I want you to listen for 3 pieces of evidence that she found. Evidence that the defendant was spending large sums of cash, a blue mask that was identical to the mask used in the robberies, and the defendant's fingerprints on that mask. Today, the people have charged the defendant with 2 counts of armed bank robbery. In order to be found guilty, you must find only 2 things for each incident. The defendant took money from Coliseum National Bank. The defendant, or her co-conspirator, Kyle Sayre, used intimidation to take that money. Same crime, simple answer. The people prove each of these elements beyond a reasonable doubt. That is why, at the end of today's trial, we'll ask you for a verdict of guilty on both counts.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Ms. Jones, do you wish to give an opening statement to the defendant?
Yes, Your Honor.
Proceed.
Let's talk about what we just heard. Mr. Parker tells an exciting story. The story of 2 college roommates who decided to combine their strengths and become bank robbers. 2 roommates who decided to rob Coliseum National Bank on August 29th and on September 9th. The star of this story is my client, Jerry Powell. But what you're going to learn today is that all Mr. Parker has is that story. There's not going to be any evidence presented in this trial to back that story up. And in fact, the only thing that's going to be proven by the people today is that Miss Powell was just in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person. Now, in bringing these charges against Miss Powell today, the people bring upon themselves a burden. Now, this burden is to prove beyond any reasonable doubt that Miss Powell robbed those 2 banks. That burden rests right here on this table. It's important to remember that that burden will never shift to this table. The burden is entirely on the people. You're going to hear Miss Powell testify today that she was Kyle's roommate for 8 years before Kyle died. That is where Miss Powell's involvement in these robberies ends. You're going to hear that she wasn't on Coliseum National Bank on August 29th or on September 9th. You're going to find that she didn't know that the robbery had taken place until she was interrogated that night. You're going to hear her testify that she didn't know that Kyle was dead until the police told her. You're also going to hear testimony from Agent Little. Agent Little is going to testify to everything that she didn't find in this investigation. Listen carefully. You're not going to be able to hear anyone present any evidence of any DNA found on either crime scene that matches my client, any fingerprints found on either crime scene matching my client. Not a single witness description was given by anyone at either of the two crime scenes that matched my client. When it comes down to it, all that the people have is one piece of evidence. A mask that could have been purchased anywhere. Found in a closet that Miss Powell shared with a known bank robber. At the end of this trial, you're going to be asked to deliberate about all that you've heard today. Mr. Parker asked you a question at the beginning of his opening statement. That question was, is Miss Powell the second robber? By the end of this trial, you still won't have an answer to that question. And if you find yourself sitting in your chair, still wondering, still confused, still unsure, that burden has not been met. I'm going to stand before you again. I'm going to ask you to deliver the only reasonable verdict in this case. That's not guilty on both counts. Because all the people can prove is that Miss Powell was in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones.